So, thanks for coming back. I appreciate that. Can I share a few stories?
Yes.
So, I've crossed quite a few lines that a lot of mentalists and even bizarrists probably wouldn't cross over the years.
Was you streaking?
No.
Well, that's a different story, was it?
Yeah, that's a different story. No, it seems. I mean, I'm very old school when it comes to doing what I do, and it seems that in recent years, mentalists and magicians have grown a conscience, so to speak. You know, and I think it's with the advent of the likes of Darren Brown and his team that he's got working with him, and you know, he's an amazing performer. You know, set out shows all over the world and that sort of thing, and you can't take anything away from him, and I wouldn't want to try. But I'm very much old school. If you've heard of the name Robert Nelson or Bob Tripp, or any of the old timers, Adaman, these people took no prisoners, and you know, if you went to them and you saw what it is they did, you would come away believing that it was the real thing, and they didn't do anything to change your mind. Be it right or wrong, I'm not here to judge. You know, I hope no one judges me for it. So, a few years ago, in fact more than a few years ago, about 10 years ago, I was asked to do a seance in a New Age shop, and the woman that owned it knew that I was into all this magic stuff as well. So, but I also did tarot reading for her as well. So she asked me to put something together, and it was a really great thing to do for me, because I had free reign. So I had a small room which I blacked out, and I mean, when you turn the lights out, it was pitch black. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face, and people had to book up for it. It was a 10-minute seance with no guarantees other than what happened, and they had to sign a waiver before they came in. Rules of the seance room. You know, no getting out of your seat, no touching the medium, no phones, no lights, no nothing. They had to leave any phones or any electrical equipment downstairs because it interfered with the contact of the spirits. It was just bollocks. I just didn't want to turn the light on halfway through. So they had to do that, and that, you know, they had, whilst they were within the seance room and the seance was proceeded, they had to obey what the medium said, the medium being me. So on the table there was a bell, like a tap ding ding sort of bell. There was a slate, which I told them was a collectible item that had been given to me by a medium who used it in Victorian times, because it was, I aged the thing so it looked the part. There was some rope, and there was, beside me there was a light which I could activate with my foot, so I had a toe switch on it. So they would examine the slate, there was nothing on it. They would pick a tarot card to help us connect with the spirits on the other side. They would then bind my wrists and then bind me to the chair. They would then sit in the chair. I would go off into some trance-like state, and at some point I would activate the toe switch and turn the light off. And then there was lots of moaning and groaning, lots of banging, scratching, and it finished up with this bell hitting the back of the wall. And then the light would come on and I'd be slumped over in a chair, still tied up, half dead, so to speak. They would come and untie me after a few minutes of coming to, and they would look at the slate, and written on the slate was a message to them from a loved one on the other side. And I did 10 of those in one day. The emotions went from hysterical laughter to absolute abject terror, and it was very well received. And it was not genuine at all. At all. It was all made up. The rope ties was a spirit rope tie. It's very convincing. It's been used in spirit cabinets since, I don't know, late 1800s, early 1900s. You can find it in Tarbell, volume 4, I think, 3 or 4. The slate, there's nothing tricky about the slate. Because of the spirit tie, I could free my hands at any given moment, and I just wrote the message on the slate. It's just really black and no one can see a bloody thing. All they can hear is scratching in the dark. And when you're in a small room and it's pitch black, noise seems to come from everywhere. So under the table, I'm getting that shit out of the table, banging my hands on here, and at the end I picked up the bell and just threw it. I could do that safely because where I'd sat them, I knew exactly if they obeyed the rules of the seance room, they wouldn't get this brass bell hitting me in the noggin. So yeah, it went very, very well. But I've got to be honest with you guys, I got away with murder. I literally got away with murder, and I did it. I was invited back to do it the next year. Again, it was the same sort of thing. The emotions went from hysterical laughing, which some people do when they're terrified. You know, they just do. And this is before anything happens. Just being in a darkened room where you switch the lights off and you can't see anything is enough to put the chills off anyone, really. So yeah, there's that. Fetish party.
What's that?
Fetish party.
Oh, right.
So, years and years ago, I was a member of the Magic Circle in Portsmouth, and there was a group of us guys that were like-minded, and once a month we'd go around to each other's houses and try and frighten the life out of each other. And it turns out that my ex-wife was, her chosen belief system was Wicca, which is modern-day witchcraft, or connected to it. And she ended up going to the University of Portsmouth to do a course on magic, for want of a better expression. And I was doing palm reading at the time for corporate gigs, and which if you've ever done, it's great fun. You have a line of people all night, similar to you with the balloons. Someone sits down, they hold their hand out, you tell them a few cheeky things about their palm and send them on their merry way. And it's just great, you get paid loads of money for it, and I enjoy every gig I did. Anyway, I said to her about doing a night for this magic group, Confessions of a would-be palm reader. And my wife knew that I just bullshit my way through it, and at the end, the person that was teaching, much to my ex-wife's disappointment, turned around and looked at everyone and said, "Now this man knows exactly what he's talking about." And it turns out that once a year they organised a fetish party, and they wanted us to go along to do some magic and some fortune telling. So I was there doing the fortune telling, which was a lot of fun, and I had some guys going around doing bizarre magic, and then we had a piece that I come up with, and it was like a murder-suicide sort of thing. So they had a small stage, and there was a table with a chair and a box, and someone would walk up and they'd sit at a table. Everyone was quiet at this point, and the music we had was a heartbeat, and the heartbeat got faster and faster as the story progressed. Now he didn't say anything. He opened up the box, took out a pen and some paper, closed the box, looked quite pensive, and then wrote out what you assumed to be a suicide note. Then he folds it up, puts it in an envelope, puts it there, reaches into the box again and pulls out a cutthroat razor. Holds it to his wrist, and you can see his hand is visibly shaking, like he wants to change his mind. And he does. There's a little bit of blood that drips down, but he changed his mind, and his face reflected the fact that he changed his mind. And at this moment, you could hear people like this, and at this moment, out of the darkened background come a friend of mine called Joe, who was 6'6", dressed like the Grim Reaper. From behind him, literally came out of nowhere, grabbed him by the hair, pulled his head back, got a butcher's knife and just went across his throat. And as he did that, the blood from the fake knife went right across the front of the audience. The screams were incredible. He didn't miss a beat though. He wiped the blood on his sleeve, reached down, grabbed him by the ankle and just dragged him off back into the darkness. And of course at that point the heartbeat had come to a sudden stop. And for about half an hour afterwards, you had people going up to the organiser saying, what did we just see? Was that real? Because bear in mind, at a fetish party, there's all sorts of things being passed around that are not quite what they seem. Cakes and that sort of thing.
You say fetish?
Fetish. Bondage, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
It was like a captive audience. I did 4 of them in the end. It was a lot of fun.
enjoyed yourself.
I was very open-minded back then. Anyway, so yeah, that's some of the antics I've got up to over the years, and I've really enjoyed it. I make no apologies. I know it's not for everybody. I know that some of the lines that I've stepped over are not for anybody. I don't do it much now. I do this. I've come here tonight. It's the first time I've done the Bizarre Magic in a very long time. I've not done readings in an exceptionally long time, nearly 7 years. I stopped doing it because I ended up getting a real job, so I didn't need to. But anyway, that's enough. Let's move on. This is a lovely piece I have collected. It's beautiful. It's a music box. So imagine now that we're in a room and it's a dark night, it's a winter's night, and there's a nice log fire going in the corner, and you say to me something like along the lines of, what have you been up to? What have you got for your collection? Have you got anything new? And I say, yeah, I actually came across this piece in a shop. This is made in Switzerland. I know that 'cause I've just read it on the bottom. And, it's a music box. And inside, there's a couple of little items there. There's a little pendant there. And do you remember I told you about Victorian cards? Well, this shows a mother and a father with a daughter that died. Okay, and there she is in the picture. That is, honest to goodness, a dead person that you're looking at there. Her name was Mary, and we're going to try and connect with Mary tonight using the stuff we've got in the box. This came with this set of cards. It's a card game, Lexicon. It's not used very much these days. I remember playing with it when I was a kid. What they are, they're letter cards. And this is very old because they're like sticking together, but they've got all different letters on them. Okay? And this is from 1886. This was a tag that was given out by the Mothers' Union. The Mothers' Union was for wayward and abandoned children or mothers that found themselves in that predicament and had no home. And I believe that this is connected to the card because I believe from the backstory that came with it is that she was adopted by the parents. So you could look at that afterwards if you want, but that's a genuine article from the Mothers' Union, so to speak. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this into some piles like that, and I'm going to mix it around in a semi-traditional sort of way that they would have done as like a fortune teller would. Okay, so we want to look at the past, the present, and the future, and then deal some cards like this. Okay, and again we go past and present and future, and we go Father and Son and Holy Ghost. Okay, and past and present and future and Mother, Maiden and Crone. Okay, and past and present and future, and what will it hold for us? Okay, so you can see that's quite a fair way of mixing the cards, and it should give us some random letters, and hopefully from those random letters we can see what was going on in that person's life and whether or not they've got a message for us. So we've got an O there, and an E, a V, I've done that right, and an L, so Vol, yeah. Or it could be love that she's got in her heart for us tonight. But I wonder, is that really what's going on? Because I understand that from the story, and if we could have someone hold that and it would start to spin, we could connect with her. I think that we could get the truth of what's going on with regards to her parents, that in actual fact they murdered her, and the only thing she has in her heart is hate. Amen. It's a difficult one. This is not had much of an outing. I've only done it a couple of times, so I'm not quite sure where I want to go with it. But it's a lovely set of props, and I feel that there's something missing. Maybe using this as a pendulum with someone holding it and getting it to spin, and is she coming? Is she not coming? And is that her true intention, or is it actually hate? Something to work on, isn't it? But I thought I'd share it with you tonight. Yes. By the way, when I open that up, it will start playing again. Just to let you know. But again, it's a lovely piece. It is an antique, and it's just beautiful to use. And that is, like I said, that is a genuine cabinet card, because the Victorians are funny people, really. But great source for doing this sort of music, so to speak.
I love the idea of a music just giving like the backing track to the effect.
Yeah, it is. It's great.
100%.
Yeah. So I've got two more pieces to share. No, I've not. I've got one more piece to share. So, Linda, would you help?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Do you want to come up? A round of applause, guys. So, I've got a couple of items here. Now, this is lovely. This is an old box that was gifted to me some years ago. Well, I think it probably was at one point, but what I've got in there is I've got runes. I don't know if you can see that. They're carved in wood. There's 2, 4, 6. There's only 7 of them. Okay. So the idea is, Linda, is I want you to take a look at those, and there's no need to tell me which one it is. All right. But in a minute, I want you to think of one. All right. Now, as we know that runes, they are a system of divination and fortune telling, okay? So hopefully this will give us an insight into what's going on around you, okay? Nothing to be scared of, just yet. Okay. So have you got one in mind?
Yes.
Okay, do you want to change that? Because I don't want you to think I'll try to influence you.
No.
You're happy? Okay, so which one is it?
Don't have it yet.
Yeah, that one, okay. So there it is. That's for you. Okay. I'm going to put the box just to one side there, like that, for a second. Okay. I would like you to think of someone that is no longer with us. Someone has passed over. All right. Now we're in public. Okay. So I don't want you to think of someone that, if I said to them, I've got Auntie Jenny here, that you burst out crying. Right? I'm not here to upset anybody. Okay, I want you to think of someone that's going to give you like nice memories, nice warm fuzzy sort of memories. Okay, you got someone in mind?
Yep.
Okay, so what I want you to do is take the pen and in big letters just print their first name along the line, and then when you've done that, turn it over. Okay, I'm going to turn my back whilst you do that, and if you let me know when you're done. Bearing in mind, I'm not trying to pencil read.
Okay.
All done?
Yeah.
So I can turn around?
Yep.
Yeah? Perfect. Okay. So that's that. One more thing. I've got another little box. That's the thing about doing Bizarre Magic. We love our boxes. Yeah, I love my boxes. There, you can see what's in there. There's some cards. Okay. These are tarot cards. Now, if you are into this sort of thing, you will end up using this at some point, okay? It just goes without saying, all right? I'm going to I don't want to look. Okay, I'm just going to put that in there. All right, and leave it out of the way. All right. So let's recap. Okay, I asked you to pick a room.
Yes.
Okay, you had no idea which one you were going to pick because you had no idea what was in the box. Okay, you had a choice of 7. All right, the reason that it's 7 is a mystical number. If you think about it, you've got the 7 days of creation, the 7 deadly sins, the 7 blessings. There's all
7
sorts
dwarves.
7 yes, the 7 dwarves. Yes. Write that one down. So, do me a favour, just cut about half the cards over. Perfect, alright. This here, I don't know if you guys can see that. That looks like an X, doesn't it? Okay. So, in the Nordic system of divination, that is called Gifu. Okay, now I'm not sure if that's exactly how it's pronounced, but in most books that's how it reads as Gifu. Alright, that's G-I-F-U. Alright. Do you remember I said earlier about some of these symbols have come down to us? Right. What does that look like?
X.
X marks the spot. 10.
Okay.
Cross.
Who said a cross? Okay. So when you do a text to somebody, what do you put on the end of it?
A kiss.
A kiss. Yeah. And Gifu, from the divination point of view, is a gift of love. So it's another symbol that's come down to us. Now you might think I'm making this up. I'm not. You can Google it. Trust me, I wouldn't lie to you that much. No, it is. It is a symbol that has come down to us, like the arrow, meaning strength, which is what we put on boxes. This is what we put on the end of our text. You know, when you finish texting Jason, you go. When he's in a good mood. When you're in a good mood, yes. So that's a gift of love, okay? And I want to say to you that relates directly to you. Okay, whether or not it's the love of the relationship you've got now, whether or not it's a love for the twins, or Abby in a fantastic costume, or the girls, or whether or not it's the work you're doing at the moment. But at the moment, you're surrounded by this huge energy which is filled with those positive and feel-good feelings. Okay. I asked you to write down the name of someone that is passed over. I get a feeling the connection with this person, there's a strong connection with love there as well. Okay, so this was a family member?
Yes.
Yes. What was the relationship? Auntie. Okay. I get a sense that when you were younger, she was quite an influence on you. You know, the way you behaved, not just in general, but more specifically in your relationships and the way you dealt with people. You understand that? Yeah. Okay. And she was one of these people that always knew the right thing to say in the right moment. You understand? Like if you were upset about something, she would say something, you'd be like, you know, or if you were pondering something and you couldn't make your mind up because you tend to make your mind up, and then when you think about it, you overthink it, and you break it down, you say, oh, fuck, let it out. But she would go, no, look, don't, Linda, just get on with it. You know, you stand on your own 2 feet, be the person you want to be, don't let anyone else's influence sway you, just get on with it.
Yeah.
That's what she would say, you know, and she was right, wasn't she, really, you know? And I remember when you heard the news that she had passed, it was like a knife. Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't want to upset you. It was a long time ago, I know. But I'm just saying, like I said, I'm not here to upset you. I don't want you to do that. I asked you to cut the cards in the middle. Okay, I'm just going to take the cards where you cut them from, and I'm going to deal some cards out. Now, yeah, this is related to the person you're thinking about. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is it. The thing to remember though is this is not the end, because a lot of people, they see this card and they think, oh Christ, what's going on, you know? But if you look very carefully in the background there, you can see the sun coming up. You know, and that's the sort of thing she would have said to you. You know, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
You know, the sun will be up tomorrow. Yeah. this is related to her. I think this is definitely about a close relationship. At one point, I think it was closer than mum. Yeah, very close. I get a feeling this is about struggle. Yeah, it was a struggle. Okay, I don't think anyone ever said this to you before, and if they have, you'll know. But I think this card tells me that you feel at times that she's still quite close. Yeah. I don't know if you can see it on there, the Four of, what is it, Swords. I don't know if you can see that there, but if you look, the coffin there is not closed. It's open, which usually means that at times when you need it, the spirit is quite close to you. You know, when you're feeling quite down or alone or whatever, it's almost like you get a hand on your shoulder or a kick up the, you know, that sort of thing. I get a sense that she juggled a lot of things. Yeah, she had a lot of things going on, and she had her own fair share of battles, didn't she? You know, there was struggle there. Eventually, though, things did take a turn for the worse, as you know. It wasn't like it was unexpected, but the end came very quick. But I think in thinking about her, you found a strength that you wouldn't find anywhere else. You feel that because of that strength, things get put right. You understand that? Yeah. But at times, you feel like you need time on your own. You know, it's almost like, I love you all, but this is me time, bugger off. Okay? And again, if you look carefully, that's that guiding light. That's that guiding light. So I hope that she's given you what you need. I get a feeling she was a very strong person. Yeah. She was definitely the sort of person that wouldn't take any truck from anyone. She always stood her ground. Even if she knew she was in the wrong, she'd still stand her ground to be belligerent. Yeah, damn right. This room that you've taken here, what I didn't show you was, if we look in the box here, and we lift this out, in there is a piece of paper. Okay, just the one piece of paper. That's all. It's not some sort of bloody trick or anything. And you picked that Gifford. If we just have a look at this, I wrote this a couple of weeks ago because I knew that you were going to be here. It says, your loved ones are always with you. We love you and guide you, and you select this route, and it's a cross on it. Okay. Now think about this, okay? Because this is unusual. I'm going to ask you to imagine something now. I want you to imagine now that your auntie was still here, okay? And you haven't spoken to her in a while, but you needed some advice. So I want you to imagine now in your mind that you've pulled out your phone and you've clicked it on, and you scrolled down and you've seen the name and you've clicked on it. You hold it to your ear and it's ringing. Can you hear it ringing? It's ringing. And when you speak to this person, would you say hello? Would you say hi? Hi, Janet. Is that okay? Yeah. Yeah, she's saying that it's been a long time and that you've grown in ways that she couldn't imagine, and that the future is looking really good. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed that. There was a little bit of a blast from the past there. Like I said, I used to do readings quite a lot. the tarot is very close to my heart because it's a classic divination system there. So again, it's a mixture of you know, real and not so real stuff, for want of a better expression. Before I say thank you, has anyone got any questions about anything? No? In that case, thank you very much for having me.